Calling it 45. It's really messed me up. So welcome back to another marathon training series video, and this is week 5. And this week is another race week. We have the Cheltenham 10K at the end of this week, just to give ourselves one last test before we lock in for the final few weeks of marathon training. But nothing's really being adjusted this week, just a final session adjustment. Otherwise, mileage is still high and we still have that marathon's fatigue starting to build. And I've got 2 runs to showcase with you this week. Number 1, we're kick-starting with the long run, and then we'll go to the session before wrapping it up with a bit of a nutrition talk. Welcome back to another episode of marathon training. This is week 5. I'm sweating buckets already, and we've got a lot to get through today. Today is all about nutrition, but we're kick-starting things with a long run. So you'll see 2 runs this week, a long run and then a workout, because we have Cheltenham 10K on the weekend. But a bit of a sad start to today's run. I was going to put this next clip first, but I thought no, probably won't. I'll drop it in now so you can see why I'm a bit upset. I tell you what, nature's cruel. There's a boar, and next to him his matey's just been hit, and that poor little boar is standing there by his friend. Oh, look at him. Oh, he's sniffing him and everything. Oh God, that's horrible. I'm so sorry, mate. Oh, what a way to start. What a way to start the week. No, I'm not a big fan of boar at all, but that is sad. That was really sad to see. That poor little thing was just looking at its mate, its mum, I don't know, dad, or its friend, brother, sister. It was so sad. It was looking at me like, can you help? He just didn't stop staring at me, and he started sniffing it. I was, oh, I'm so sorry, my friend. I'm so sorry. So anyway, I'm going to just get the first 3 miles done, get out onto the trails and explain what we have today. Okay, so why the shuffle around and what have we got on today? Well, with Cheltenham 10K this weekend, I didn't want to go 2 weekends on the bounce without a long run, so I've moved this last week. I'm effectively completing a 9-day cycle, and then I probably will miss next weekend's long run, do the Cheltenham 10K, and then in the week I have scheduled in a meaty midweek marathon session to kind of be a bit of a halfway house between a long run and some specific work. So I'm working it out all right. I feel good about it, and I'm excited for today. Today, 60 minutes steady, and I'm doing an out and back on the trail like I was doing for some of my Newport training and like I was doing for London earlier this year, to minimise elevation, no big hills. I'll get 60 minutes done, and then I'll start the next section at the top of the industrial estate, which will be 60 minutes at marathon pace, and then a 15-minute cool down. And so fueling, here we go. We are fueling. Placed a big old order with X Miles last week. That's probably my next shoe purchase down the drain. Gels are expensive, so I've been obviously using maltodextrin, but it's about time I start practicing once again. Here we go again with the fuel we're going to use. So I plan this time to just exclusively use the Morton Gel 160s for the extra calories, and as I said, we'll talk more about nutrition at the end and how I'm going to try and address my shortfall and show you a really great nutrition calculator that will help you guys as well. So yeah, going to be taking these every half an hour, so I'm nearly at the first one. Alright, I have got 6.5 minutes to go, 53.5 minutes done, and one more hill. So that's going to be a good hour of steady running, fatiguing me, ready to lock in to these next 60 minutes. If my calculations are right, which I think they should be, hopefully, I'll be able to get up this next hill onto the top road, and then I'll be starting my marathon effort on a downhill. So I'm not going to push down there. I'll relax. It's only about 3 minutes long, and then I'll be at the top of the industrial estate, and we'll be going back and forth about 7 times, I think, which is going to be fun. But it's all part of the process. Need to start getting specific now, and next gel is also due, so I'm going to wait to lock in to marathon effort, because I'm having them every 30 minutes, and I'll hit the lap button, go, and then have that next one during the actual marathon effort, so my stomach gets used to taking fuel on board again during marathon effort. Basically, here we go, nearly there. Right, absolutely perfect. Gel at the ready. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 1 hour. So that looked to be around 6:38 per mile for that, which is decent. Now we're going to roll down this hill onto the estate, and let's see what this marathon pace feels like for an hour. Oh my word, the boar is still there. The poor thing, still waiting for his mate. There he is, look, lying down next to him. Oh my god. Oh god, there's 2 of them. 2 of them have been hit. He keeps lying down next to him. Oh, well, that's a head messer-upper. Calling it 45. Oh man, I just couldn't do any more. You're gonna call me a wimp, call me a wet lettuce, whatever, but at 25 minutes I went past that poor boar again, and he just crept out onto the road, wagging his tail, looking at me as if, I mean, I can't read the bloody thing's mind, but it felt like it was saying, can you help me, mate? And then I just feel myself welling up. So sad. And I turned at the roundabout, came back, and the poor bugger was lying in between the 2 of them again and nuzzling them, and I just it's really messed me up. Really messed me up. I'm just gonna have a break for a second. Oh god. Do you know what? I know some people don't care about animals and some people do, so it'll resonate with some people and not others, but honestly at that point it's making me feel sick thinking about it. Poor little bugger. And I started crying. I feel myself welling up. Tears started rolling, breathing went, stitch came because my diaphragm wasn't working properly. I was trying to hit marathon pace while being emotional, and it just didn't work. So I've just got to 45 minutes and stopped. Yeah, that was just savage. So I'm just going to have a break for a second, and so if you see the elapsed time is different, you know why, and then I'll just trot home, I think. So here we go then, it is Thursday. I guess I owe you guys a bit of an apology. That was a little bit morbid, but you know what, it was how I was feeling at the time, and it made me feel so sick. So I went home, obviously went to bed that night, woke up the next day feeling a lot better, and I feel fine today. It's just sad, I just find it, oh, that poor little thing. Anyway, we won't dwell on it. We got a session today, and let's try and nail this one, because we have the Cheltenham 10K in 3 days time. Now, I did have a big session today, and I was going to prioritize the session over the 10K and just go and run the 10K on tired legs. And I'm still going to be running the 10K on tired legs, because after today I will have run around 54-55 miles in 4 days straight, which is quite a lot for me. I'll have a rest day tomorrow, a little shakeout on Saturday, and then the race on Sunday, and my legs are going to be absolutely trashed. But I have to be honest with you, you can't replicate the training effect that you get from a race. You can't replicate the race day morning itself, the adrenaline you get, and of course I can never really get my heart rate as high and the effort levels as high as I can in race day, plus as it was whenever I did the last Cheltenham half marathon. It's gonna be super hot that day, so I'm not gonna be shooting for a PB. My goal is to run in the 520s per mile, between 520 and 529. Somewhere in that round for an average pace would be amazing. That's all I'm after. And I thought to myself, what's more important? And actually, if I can get 6.2 miles or 10k worth of work done in the 520s, that's going to be a far better stimulus for me in the long run than my longer session that I was going to get done today. So the original session for today was going to be 5 sets of 4 minutes on, 1 minute off, 2 minute on, 1 minute off. So a bit of a kind of an alternating intervals workout. The 4s are going to be at half marathon effort, so I'm hoping for those to be in and around the 5:30 to 5:39 per mile, and the 2s are just quicker. I hadn't set myself a pace on those, but the goal of this session was to be the session of the week to work faster the marathon pace. So 5 sets of that, and then I was going to spin the legs with some 45s and 30 seconds at the end. I've cut the 45s and 30s off the ends, to be honest with you, because I'll do some strides on Saturday's shakeout, and I've brought the sets down from 5 to 3. So it's just going to be a 24-minute workout in total, 18 minutes worth of quality, nothing more. It's still quite a lot, I suppose, 3 days out, but the reality is I'm trying to find that blend of still getting some good quality in there. So it'll be 12 minutes of half marathon work and 6 minutes of faster work, but then also feeling good enough to try and execute the 520s to 529 per mile for 6.2 miles or 10k on race day. And just before we get into it, I want to say a massive thanks to Saysky for sponsoring this week's video, the training series leading up to Abingdon Marathon. Let me move the camera here, and point here, you'll see FODRunner15 appear, which is a discount code to get you guys 15% off Saysky items. I'm really appreciating their support during this training block. Really excited to be working with them again. This is a vest that they've recently sent me, a training vest from their newer drop, and then we've got some from the last drop, some of their combat shorts. I keep saying it, iPhone 12 Pro Max in there. Fits beautifully. That'll be where all my gels get carried on race day, and then of course just some training socks and the Alpha Fly 3, which I'm testing out today as a bit of a race day practice. So yes, Saysky are absolutely incredible. Don't forget, you guys can get 15% off using discount code FODRunner15. I can't recommend their kit enough. You saw me on the last race vlog. Where was I? Where was that race vlog? Podium 5k. That's probably the kit I'm going to be wearing for Abingdon Marathon. The nice sub whatever vest, racing vest, flow singlet, and then the combat shorts. So that'll be what I'm wearing probably on Abingdon race day. So there we go. Massive thanks to Saysky once again for sponsoring this week's video. Right, here we go. Let's get on with this. First 4-minute rep. Let's try and wake these legs up. .542, bit slow, but legs are tired. Can't ask for more at this stage. Right, first set done, and then that 2 was a 524. So that was decent. I'll take that. Definitely feels slow today. I love these shoes, but they're so bloody bulky. .532 per mile. That's what I was expecting. As per usual, first rep always seems to be a bit of a warm-up rep. .521, bang on, happy with that. Last set. This one's going to be pretty much all uphill. Oh, toasty now. 5:35 per mile for that one, which is really good considering that 3.5 minutes of that 4 was uphill. Let's clear the eyes and one more 2. .523 pace for that last one. So there we go, a good session done. So thoughts on that? Decent, exactly. I said where I wanted them to be. and by the first rep, which takes me a bit of a while to get into, it was only a tiny bit slow. Yeah, good, really good. Hot. It's the joys of marathon training in the summer, but yeah, spot on. Couldn't have asked for more. It's going to be about 55 miles as I predicted for the week so far, which means hopefully with a shakeout and a race we'll hit in and around 70 miles, maybe just shy, maybe just over, but it's where I've kind of set my base level now, and hopefully after this week things will be creeping up even more. So just got to get used to this marathon fatigue. So there we go, it's been a relatively solid week. A little bit disappointed I couldn't quite finish off the long run, but it is what it is, and the session went relatively well. Shoes felt okay, I'm just on the fence with them, but we'll talk about that another time and maybe do some more testing. You will have seen a video about it if you've seen the previous video on the channel. But with that out of the way, let's dive into all this nutrition stuff. Now, if you follow my journey for a while, you'll know I've run a fair few marathons, and most of them end up with me slowing down towards the end. I've only had a couple of successful marathons where I've slowed in the last 2 or 3 miles maybe, but that's about it. And I've had a much more gradual slow than some of the others where I've pretty much fallen off a cliff. And it often tends to be that I don't quite get my fueling right. I often find that with my gel strategy, I can get most of them on, but when it comes to the last gel that I need, I just can't get it on. I feel sick, and I often end up being sick like I was at London earlier this year, or I just feel too sick to be able to ingest anything, and then after that my race goes downhill. So what X Miles have come up with, and this is not a sponsor video, but this is a really useful bit of kit that I wanted to share with you, is a nutrition calculator, and it's highlighted exactly what my issue is. Now, everyone's physiology is different, and obviously we all need different things when it comes to marathon, all need different amounts of carbs and fuel that we take on board, but this gives us a good generic idea as to what we should roughly be targeting. So if you've ever been in a situation where you've got towards the end of a marathon and you've bonked pretty hard, or you've just, you feel like you've run out of fuel, you're running on empty, this bit of kit might be really useful. And the best thing about it is that it's free. So if you hop onto the homepage of the X Miles website, click on the nutrition calculator link, and then effectively what that does is it will create a nutrition list for you. You do have to log in, so you have to create a free account, but there's no paywall or anything there at all. Just create your account, and then if you pop in your details, which effectively is what you're training for, so you can run, cycling, swim, whatever it is, and then the distance. So for me it's a marathon, and then I put my weight and my gender and click generate the list. It will give me some target amount of calories and carbs that I need to hit before, during and after my event, which is fantastic, and it highlights exactly what I've been experiencing, which is the fact that I need to be hitting, or according to the list, around 88 grams of carbs per hour, which is always what I've suspected. I've talked to Matt about it. He's done some calculations for me because he's a very clever chap when it comes to that sort of thing, and I've always known that as a bigger runner in 6'6", I've needed more carbs per hour than a lot of other people, and it's where I've personally fallen short. But obviously for you guys, we'll all be different, and obviously this is just a rough guide, so just bear that in mind. It's not exact numbers, it's just a rough guide. Now, when I put in the gels that I've put in before, I come up well short. So my target this time is to be taking Morton 160 gels. Now, if I put in the 4 160 gels that I'm planning to have, it still thinks that I'm going to be around 25 grams short. Now, for me to take on 4 160 gels, fingers crossed, should be okay. I've always suffered with the 5th gel. So what I have to come up with a strategy of is how to then take on that 5th gel. Do I take it in the form of a gel? Do I take it in the form of a drink in terms of slipping a soft flask in my pocket? Or maybe do I try some chews? That's obviously an option as well. And obviously it gives me my before targets. I've just popped in a drink mix in there because I always have a drink mix before my marathons and races anyway. So I've just put that in there just so you can see. And then obviously afterwards you can put in whatever you want. I haven't filled that in because my go-to is usually some kind of takeaway or binge food. So I don't tend to eat particularly great after a marathon, but during is really, really key for me. And it just highlights once again that I need to take on more carbs during the marathon. So it might be really interesting for you guys to go and fill it out and see if you put in your last marathon, if you've had an experience with a marathon where you've kind of fallen a bit short, not quite hit your goal, or just kind of really faded in the second half. Head on to this calculator, put your details in,
put in what you took during that marathon and see how much you fell short, because I guarantee you'll find that you fell short by quite a bit, especially if you're bonking quite a way out from the end, not sort of like 21, 22, 23 miles, but if you're starting to fade around 14, 15, 16 miles, which often happens, I'll guarantee you there's a massive shortfall of carbs there. So I just thought I'd share that with you. It's just a really useful bit of kit that they've created. Obviously, as I said, in a disclaimer, this is just generic information, so everybody is different, but it will give you a rough target. So if you've been struggling to work out a fueling strategy, this might be a great place to start. You can mix and match the gels you take and see what might work for you guys. So we'll leave it there, guys. I hope that was useful and I appreciate you guys tuning in to this week's video. A few thank yous as always to X Miles for supporting me. FOD10 gets you guys a 10% discount code. Pure Sport, link in the description below for the freeze roll muscle balm, magnesium and the electrolytes that I take. Those are the products that I personally recommend. Ketone IQ, still taking a shot of that every single day, 30% off your first subscription box. Noble Pro treadmills, again, there's a 4% discount in the description below. If you're looking for a treadmill this winter, don't forget to check those out. And finally, Body Light Gear offering you guys 10% off using the discount code below for all of your reflective gear needs. That's it from me today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please do consider giving it a like, share it with your friends, and of course, subscribe to the channel for weekly running content, and I'll see you on the next one.
And nuzzling them, and I just, oh.